Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I just want to kind of expand on the whole so-called labor shortage that we're still currently having. Employers are hiring, but they have to consider CDC guidelines and stuff like that, and when is there going to be a possible another shutdown and everything, and a lot of people just don't want to return to employment, retail, customer service, call centers, food industries, hospitality and everything, just because of how there's no stability of if another lockdown did happen and everything, that there is a possibility they may not have their jobs when they come back, along with the fact of how some employers can't really work around other people individual schedules, if you're in college, if you do have to do childcare, if your kids are in school, the K through 12 program, primarily first grade through 12th grade and everything, since kindergarten is a half day thing, and that how are they going to be able to work around that, if they have multiple employees with the same schedule, and a lot of high schoolers don't get out until 3:15, and they won't be there until about 4:30, so it's kind of hard to do that unless they have certain employees that can come in and stay until 4:30, but even then that is stretching it, because some people do have to be at home to make sure their kids are okay from the school. Daycares, most of the time daycares run Monday through Friday from 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock at latest, and then a lot of employers are mostly looking for a lot of people for the evening shifts, until 11, 12 o'clock at night, because the high schoolers that they hire can't stay until maybe 10 o'clock at night. And the one job I had, there was at least a couple high schoolers, one of them was able to was only staying until 9 o'clock at night, because her parents apparently dictate that, along with how this other high schooler who is now currently a senior, they would keep her until 11, 12 o'clock at night, even though clearly knowing she had to be at school the next day at 7:15 in the morning, and that a lot of the high schoolers are getting drained because they're expected to stay longer than needed, violating child labor laws and everything, and that many people just don't feel comfortable coming back into the workforce just because of COVID, not knowing who is and isn't vaccinated, along with how there's really no sustainability in those unless you do an online business platform. If you work in an office job that is remote, that is allowing still do a hybrid or still work from home, but finding employment that will work around your whole kid scheduling, daycare scheduling, what you prefer, if you are in college, and it's very difficult, and that for the most part it is. And I understand where a lot of the people wanting to return to work, because I got fired from a job because of literally the simplest comments you can make, the most, what you think is the harmless comment. It could be about certain body piercings, talking about adopting animals from one of my neighbors that was talking about from her home state where she's from, and talking about adopting dogs from the pounds and everything. Well, for me, I was talking about body piercings and stuff that they thought was sexual harassment, which it totally was not. It should have been more open and accepting than anything else. I should have just gotten a write-up or a suspension, not strip, get fired. And that's what happened to my neighborhood before she moved out, and Sutton got a better job where she was pretty much fired, but she was there for a little bit longer than I was, just for harmless comments. And she was already planning to leave because she was moving and found a better job for herself, along with the fact of how one of the shift leads are, just because of the shift lead continuously making comments that are totally not necessary. For me, the manager had made a comment about another manager. I don't even know if that one particular manager still works there or not. How there was a money issue and stuff, and a lot of people feel if there is a money issue, they may be blamed for it, that there's other stuff going on that they just didn't feel comfortable with and stuff like that, so they end up just kind of leaving the food service and everything. And along with how it's hard, and like how the minimum wage determining where you live at here in the state of Colorado, it's $12.32. Well, if you're tipped, it's $9.30 an hour, unless you are in the city and county of Denver, which is a little bit higher, like $2 to $3 more an hour for tipped and non-tipped people, and that is hard to like find a place that's within budget without having to do multiple roommate situation. And that there's so much that a lot of people consider. I honestly recommend just looking at sources like I did, and also if you have experienced it, put it down in the comments below. And I hope you enjoy this video and hit that subscribe button.